Hey folks, welcome to the Advanced Jazz Learning Techniques video number 2. I'm Jeff Antoniuk. I'm pleased that you're here with me live streaming on Facebook, and all these videos are archived on YouTube on the Jeff Antoniuk Educator channel. Before we jump into this, I want to let you know that this series of 10 videos, we have a booklet, essentially a study guide or a way for you to enact all the stuff we're talking about. So if you send me an email to jeffantoniuk@gmail.com, I'll get this PDF off to you and it'll help you be more involved with what we're doing here. I hope the videos are interesting, I hope you dig them, but to actually dig in and get some work done, I think this will be helpful. That was my whole point. I want this to be sort of an active thing as opposed to passively sitting around watching videos. So the video today, listening doesn't work. And I'll probably get hate mail for this, but that's our point of departure. Telling somebody to listen is most often not good advice and gets nobody anywhere. In my experience, from what I have seen. I'm here talking to teachers, jazz educators, folks who want to start a jazz business like what I have, but this also applies to all of us players too, all this information. So I tell you what, driving down the road, look left or right and you're going to see people in the cars beside you listening. Those people have listened to thousands of hours of music, maybe tens of thousands of hours of music. Are they great musicians? Are they listening in a deep way? No, probably not. So listening, just saying, oh yeah, they're listening. You get the idea, right? It doesn't work. Think about going to an investment counselor, who you're paying, by the way, and their advice is, yeah, you should save. Good idea, save. And that's it? You would fire that person. That's ridiculous, right? Yet I see this, we give lip service to listening. Yeah, you should listen. Check out some albums. Yeah, listen to Coltrane. Waste of breath. That's practically useless. So what I'm suggesting is we get a little deeper, and it doesn't have to take a long time. So follow me along with this. So a lot of the teaching I do is actually in group settings, and the training that I do with other jazz professionals around the country, the people that come to me to train and learn how to do this stuff, is working with groups. And so these are very often adult amateur students, folks who are playing on the side, and they all get up to a semi-pro, even a professional level at some point. So for these folks, my job is to transform them. That's the business I'm in when I'm educating, is to transform my students. And if I tell someone, yeah, man, listen to Coltrane, if they are not noticeably better in a month or two, something's wrong. What's wrong is me. I'm not a good teacher. If I give somebody scales or a lick or learn this tune, and in 2 months they still haven't learned that tune, okay, something's wrong. You would realize that and fix it, right? Yet this idea, we tell people to listen and things don't get better, right? So here's what I want to do. I want to run down, for me, what's important. A lot of this is not going to be news to you, but I hope the reminder is kind of the deal. That lip service gets nobody anywhere. Don't waste your breath. Okay, so the first thing is, this needs to be active listening. We need to be involved. And the best way to think about it is ask yourself questions. When you're listening to the music, ask yourself questions about it. That makes you active, right? And that's what this PDF guide, by the way, is about. It's to get you thinking about my topics in these videos, not just letting it wash over you in one ear, out the other. Maybe you get a little inspired and that's that. It doesn't work. It's not going to help, right? So, active. Ask yourself questions. We'll get into that a little bit more. The second thing is focused listening. In other words, listen to a recording and listen just to somebody's tone. You don't listen to their notes or the cool licks. You listen just to the ride cymbal. And I'm talking about if you're not a drummer. You listen only to the comping. Like very, 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 very focused. And here's item number 3, dig deeper, like dig some deep holes. In other words, you listen to the same recording over and over again. The same recording, track, not even the whole album, the same track 20 times in a row, and listening to these different items. That is going to get somebody somewhere. Absolutely. So I tell you what, I want to play for you just a second. I'm going to play 8 measures of invitation, let's say. So I'm going to, play 8 measures of invitation. I'm going to stop, and then I'm going to play it again a little differently. And, quick little listening exercise. Let's see if we can hear what's going on. And so this is active listening, right? So 1, 2, 3. hesitation stopped in the ninth measure. I'm going to do the same thing one more time. Same tempo. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so same tempo, same tune, and it sounded different, right? So some of us can tell very immediately what went on. Some of us maybe don't have a key, of how to get into there. But ask yourself questions as simple as, to begin with, did the two sound different? Some of you say yes, some of you say no. To me, they did not sound different. What was the difference? Someone could say the second version was faster. The second version had more of a groove to it. The second version sounded more African. The first version swung more. Simple ideas like that. We're now doing active listening. We're asking ourselves questions, right? You may have heard a recurring rhythm the second time. So for folks who have even more knowledge, you may have noticed that I was actually started out basing my improvisation on a cymbal pattern. Dank, dank, da dank, 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 da dank. I was thinking 12/8, I was thinking triplets, I was thinking Afro-Cuban. So the idea that you can dig deeper as you're listening. And this is all simple. We're not transcribing yet, right? And that's a whole nother topic. I'm just talking about listening today. And one of the best tools I know is asking yourself these simple questions like this or that. Like that simple. Was it fast? Was it slow? Embarrassingly simple. But I'm talking about for advanced players. And this can kind of give you a key into what's going on. Did I hear eighth notes? Did I hear triplets? So many of us let the music wash over. It's grooving like mad, but we don't really know. We haven't really analyzed, right? Was it straight? Was it swung? These kind of simple patterns. At some point, was it more diatonic sounding or was it symmetrical sounding? Did you hear an augmented scale or a whole tone scale? Or maybe you don't even know what those sound like, but you could hear the difference between diatonic and symmetrical, those sort of things. Was it legato? Was it articulated? I had my master's degree from North Texas, had made 4 albums, had been a professional musician for years, and I didn't really know, did Sonny Rollins articulate a lot or a little? I didn't know, right? I hadn't asked myself these questions. By the way, I had also transcribed probably 10 Sonny Rollins solos. It's easy to get good and not ask these simple questions, okay? So that's what we need to guide people to. When we just say, yeah, listen, that doesn't work. It really doesn't work. Okay, it is shocking those either or, this or that kind of questions can get you very, very deeply into something very, very quickly. Had you not asked those questions, it would have been a passive experience. We would have gotten nowhere. So I hope you get what I'm talking about here. The last thing I'll say, and I don't want to sound like the old guy on the internet. I think there's somebody older than me out here. But listening works better in a group, a social experience. So these days, there's so much going against us. Every piece of recorded jazz history is free right here on YouTube, probably, right? So it's so easy to bounce from thing to thing and not listen to anything more than once or not listen to something 20 times. And then the experience of listening, sit around and listen with a drummer or go to a concert with a drummer and have them talk to you about what they heard. That was some of the greatest experience I had, was hanging out with friends and colleagues and peers and buddies and listening to a tune. And one of the guys saying, oh yeah, there's Kenny Barron's thing again. What? Oh yeah, Kenny Barron in that spot kind of likes to do this thing. Huh, I didn't know that. Interesting, but now I do, right? So having people that can kind of help you through this process. So anyway, I hope that kind of sticks with you, that advice of, yeah, just listen is useless. You may as well say something else or talk about the weather at that point. So when you want to do someone a favor, when you're really teaching and really doing this, you see how you could take 3 minutes and change somebody's life, or you could make a blow-off statement and nobody gets anywhere. So that's what we're about right here. Okay, so I tell you what, wrap it up right there. I hope you subscribe to the channel, the Jeff Antoniuk Educator channel. This is number 2 out of 10 videos coming up. I've geared these towards folks who want to teach, and especially folks who may be interested in coming to study with me and start a business like what I do here in the DC area around North America. We've got a couple folks doing this already, and it's pretty amazing. And it's the Wild West out there. Nobody is doing this kind of stuff. That's another conversation. So thank you for subscribing. send me an email. You can message me on Facebook or jeffantoniuk@gmail.com. I'll send you the PDF, and this will help you get through not only this video, but the other 9. And I really appreciate your time. I hope we'll contact each other. Hope we'll get to talk and discuss this a little bit. Thanks so much. Take care.